How many more emergency podcasts should we record and not release?
I know. Honestly, we have quite the library of unreleased content.
We probably have at least 4 to 5 videos.
Unedited, uncensored.
If you guys want to buy some unedited, raw, filtered videos that were never seen by the public, let us know.
The OnlyFans version of KOTC.
Alrighty, welcome back everybody to another episode of King of the Court. We got myself, Tyler Leung, and our other guy, Jimmy Miller, over here.
This guy.
So last time we were recording an emergency podcast that never got released. I go up to the camera and I turn around and I start looking at Jimmy and I look down at his feet. The most criminal thing I've ever seen.
What are you talking about?
The most criminal thing I've ever seen.
What?
He's wearing 2 different pairs of socks. Not the same one.
Listen, they're both white. That's all that matters.
Up. Absolutely.
We
criminal.
have
absolutely criminal.
Listen, we have a very close friend of the show in Stance, and then there's an official sock of MLP. So I figured let's rock them both.
Oh my gosh, it was
fine, Tyler.
Mind blown. Anyways, thank you for joining us. We have a very jam-packed episode today.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're able to cover everything. But first and foremost, we have some really, really big, exciting news. Number one, we got new mic stands, which I don't know if we like. Let us know what your thoughts are on them. They're hefty.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Some weights. So they're a little bit taller than our previous ones.
That. What's that guy? Who's that guy that used to do like the top 40 back in the day? Our demographic's older. They'll know. Oh, Casey Kasem. This is Casey Kasem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're testing these ones out. Hopefully you guys like them, we like them, and we'll be able to continue to use them. Anyways, moving on. Thank you to our title sponsor, The Pickler.
Pickler.
They are the premier indoor facilities. They have 150 plus locations coming to a town near you.
Yes. The Pickler, also, huge news. We talked about this a little bit on the show. Mm-hmm. They've press release went out. Mm-hmm. The Pickler has combined forces with Pickleball Inc.,
okay,
which is the parent company of the PPA, Pickleball Brackets, Pickleball Central.
Many other companies,
essentially all things pickleball related.
Yep.
And now they're under that umbrella, or at least they have a working relationship with that umbrella. So with that being said, the Pickler, who is our title sponsor.
And they also own the Pickler Shop.
They own the Pickler Shop. The Pickler Shop will now become
Pickleball Central. So,
can we do clap? Woo, yay. So, with that being said, our new sponsor of KOTC is
the one and only
Pickleball Central.
Pickleball Central. So they are very similar to the Pickler Shop.
Yeah.
It's an e-commerce site. They sell all product, paddles, bags. They actually carry a lot more than the Pickler Shop did. So if you're looking for anything, any paddle, anything ball,
you need,
any
balls,
net,
bags, grips. I mean, they sell clothing. They sell ball machines. Anything that you need that's nets.
Go check them out.
Including C&D
at
nets.
Including C&D Pickleball Nets. Go check them out at pickleballcentral.com and use code KOTC at checkout. And this is the best discount that they're offering.
The highest discount that they offer. Also, they have the best return policy.
They do.
30 days.
30 days.
Try it.
Yep.
You don't like it? Return it.
Yep.
Try it.
So we are
could you imagine if you could do that with like your wife?
Exactly. How many people would do that?
I don't know. Maybe that's a bad question, but
yeah.
I'll say spouse, not just wives.
Partners,
yes. Life partners.
Can you do that in pickleball? Return your pickleball partner?
Try him for 30 days. Yeah. Riley Newman said he tries him for 3 to 5 tournaments, and then he's out.
And then he's done. So go check them out, pickleballcentral.com. Like I said, they have all paddles, all brands, all pickleball items. It is not exclusive to one product. Yeah. Use our code KOTC. It will work on probably 95% of the items. There are some items that it won't use the code for, but for the vast majority of the items, it does work. Go check them out and tell your friends about our code. It's going to save you guys money, and it actually supports us as a show.
Supports the it helps us get new mic stands.
Exactly. So, hey, Jimmy, the past 3 days, We're big.
Merger drama.
All right, give us the rundown.
All right, here we go. Quick rundown on the merger, where it sits, what it looks like, what's happening. So, MLP, PPA, they've been in talks for months and months and months, and finally, they have come to an agreement on the long form version, which is essentially all the details of the merger. That is great news. So, MLP and PPA have come to an agreement. Now,
They're good to go.
they are good to go. Now, let's just have a little caveat here. The owners do still need to vote to ratify this agreement. It is a majority vote that needs to take place. I do think that the terms of the agreement actually got better when Tom Wagner stepped in, which we talked about on our previous episode. So the terms got better. So I don't think anybody's anticipating the owners voting it down. So it could still happen. Obviously, the one thing that we need to be very clear, this is all fluid. It changes by the hour. Okay.
By the hour, it is changing.
Yes. But they have come to an agreement. That's step one. Step two, we don't know when MLP will start. We were told that it was going to be possibly up to 60 days after the agreement. MLP did not like that I said that. I'll just call it what it is. They're saying that that was not accurate. The person that I heard it from, I would say would probably know, we'll just say. And so who knows when MLP is going to start? Who knows when, once this is fully like ratified and signed, sealed, and delivered. However, there's also one other huge part to this.
Tell us, Jimmy.
They're saying that they will not sign the merger and close the merger.
So MLP is saying this.
MLP is saying this until all the players have accepted new contracts.
Okay. And so up till now, there's been quite a few players that have already accepted pay reductions, pay cuts, modified contracts on the MLP and PPA side.
Yes.
There's been a group of, I believe, over 50 players, around 51 players that have yet not signed those new contracts.
Correct.
And so, to our understanding, those 51 players were sent new contracts, and this is basically the last resort.
So there were, and this is the interesting thing is some of those players, and this is going to sound, this is just factual. Okay. This isn't anything some of those players were actually sent decent contracts with less cuts, and they're being allowed to negotiate, we'll say. Mm-hmm. Some other players were sent basically take it or leave it deals. And they were given those last night. And those deals are 50% pay cuts. Mm-hmm. So 50% across the board. Your MLP days are cut to 100. Mm-hmm. And you essentially, you can go play PPAs, you can play MLPs, you can play whatever you want. And you just have to give them 100 days. However,
go ahead.
If you decide to play APPs, so for example, if you have a $200,000 pay, it's cut to 100 and you have 100 days, okay? Mm-hmm. If you decide to go play like an APP, for instance, every day that you play an APP event is subtracted off of your 100 days, which means that you're essentially costing yourself, if you have a $100,000 deal, $1,000 a day to play APPs. Mm-hmm. So,
and with APPs, to our knowledge, you're not going to be guaranteed.
No, unless you're like the SQ or Nunnery or someone like that who's been winning APPs. Mm-hmm. It's quite the gamble to go play an APP that's going to cost you $4,000 for 4 days, hoping that you're going to make $4,000. Now, that being said, it is possible that you could just sign with MLP or just go play MLPs, say that's 50 days. Mm-hmm. You take 50,000, which I think is more than 99% of Challenger players made last year playing MLP.
Sure.
Right? And then go play APPs, and then just take the cuts. That's very possible. This does open up a lot of flexibility for those players, those, challenger level players and those players that want to play APPs. And it also depends on what your contract is, right? Because it's not always 50. Some of these players signed for 75,000 total. So now they're like, okay, you can go play for 33,000, 100 days. So it just really depends on on the player and what they want to do. But it does allow for a little bit of flexibility, in my opinion.
Yeah. When I heard about that last resort contract. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was going to be a lot worse than that. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at it at face value, it offers them the freedom to do whatever they want. They don't have to play as much. However, on the flip side, I know a lot of those players that were holding out were wanting to work those 200 days.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, it's an interesting scenario because it feels like some of those players kind of called their bluff of putting them to work for 200 days.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, actually, we're just going to cut you 50%.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's because they can't find 200 days to put in the work for, or if it's because essentially they are just saying, the cost is still too high. But I mean, these are players that most of them are playing APPs to begin with.
Yeah.
But there
a
are
lot
some
of these players.
decent name players on this list, like that we have talked to.
So you've spoken to a couple
Yes.
and they were not happy.
They weren't happy. They were definitely confused because some of these players have actually told me that they tried to negotiate with MLP. They were willing to take cuts. They tried to negotiate and they were told, hey, we won't negotiate till after the merger, but don't worry about it. We're all good. They said they had really productive conversations with MLP. And they thought things were fine. They said, we'll just circle back after the merger. Everything's good. And then all of a sudden these emails show up.
So did you say this? So one of the caveats or one of the stipulations with this merger going through is that every single player, from what we've heard, every single player has to agree or has to sign off.
Yeah. So before this goes through, so I think that is putting a little bit of peer pressure on some of these players. And it's interesting because what if you are one of those players who decides to hold out, are you holding up the entire merger? I mean, I would imagine if there's a couple staunch holdouts, they're just going to push it through.
For example, Jilly B.
Yeah, if Jilly B decides, look, I'm sticking by my principles. I started a players collective. I didn't get what I wanted. I'm going to hold out. Then I think that they would push it through. But I also think that if Jilly B is who she says she is, and she does have the player's best interest in mind, and everybody else signs, and they're like, hey, we're not getting paid until you sign. If she really truly has their best interest in mind, she would sign or at least just essentially terminate her contract and move on.
What are the chances Ignatowicz shows up to her door with a pen and paper
Oh, 100%.
telling her to sign on the dotted line?
Oh, it's either that or Tyson's going to send Stallion Performance come barging through her house and
With the bags on
with
his
the
shoulder.
bags on his shoulder, telling her to sign. Like, so it'll be interesting
Because theoretically, she or whoever it is would be holding up those players from
they
their
could.
500,000 plus contracts.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine those types of players being pleasant with those types of players.
So
if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'll be interesting what happens. So there's a few other things a couple things, just my opinion, but I think that the longer that this takes, the worse it is for MLP, obviously. The longer it takes for MLP to actually get an event out there, the worse it is. I think that they've got to, you've got to start playing events. Like, let's get back to freaking pickleball. That's
Or at
what's
least
fun.
put a date of when you're getting
Yeah,
back.
give us a
hey,
date.
This is a firm date. We're going
Yeah.
to start playing.
I'll just tell you this. I had some people call me the last couple of days that should know every single detail of what is going on, and they have not been communicated with at all.
Yeah.
Zero communication. So if anything comes from this, it's got to be at least better communication. Like there's certain people that should know things. Communicate with them. Let them know. Let the players know. Like this is their livelihood.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid. Literally, there are players who are showing up to the next event. Right? They're paid $500. These are players that are they were good players. They made the PPA finals last year. Okay, and they're paying $590 in entry fees. To play this event because they're not under contract.
Yeah.
There's no prize money right now, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So you're
I
not.
don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but
Yeah. There's. If all the contracts are guaranteed, there's probably no prize money. You're talking $700 for like this person I talked to paid $700 for a flight.
yeah.
Then hotels and everything. So they're going to be $3,000 or $4,000 into this one event with no prize money, no salary, no money guaranteed. I think we know why certain people. So I think we can say this: J-Dub, Dylan.
Oh yeah, I was just going.
They all
that,
pulled
yeah.
out.
Yeah, so they pulled out of the next few tournaments. The
Yeah.
JW5 or whatever they call them.
Yeah, the Johnson 5.
Yeah.
They all pulled out. They aren't playing the next tournaments. A couple other players have pulled out. Lindsay Newman has said she's not playing until she gets paid.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense for her to pay, all that money to play. I mean, players are pulling out at this point because they're not wrong in that it doesn't make, it's costing them money to play pro pickleball. So what's the point? So it's interesting. We'll see what happens. I do think that there just needs to be a little bit more transparency and better communication between, these parties and these players. It's not fair to these players. Like you said, it's their livelihood. I know that there's a player that I was told, I won't say any names, but they were on maternity leave. And their maternity
that narrows it down.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't. I mean, but there's been a few, and essentially they were going to go back to work, right? Their plan was actually not even to go back to work after this ended. It was to play pro pickleball because they had this contract, and now they're like, well, wait, do I not quit my job? Do I go back to work? What do I do? My money's running out. I mean, you're leaving everybody in the balance here. And I know that this is easy for, some of these people that are running this because they're billionaires and they don't have these day-to-day issues.
Yeah.
But the reality is a lot of these players are making 60. The majority of these players are making 100,000 or less a year. And once you add in expenses and things like that, there's not great money yet for the
vast majority
of players. If you're an upper echelon player, sure. And so you got to give them something. You've got to give them some communication and let them know where things are at. And I think that that's been the biggest misstep is that, and this whole thing is that they've lost the trust of the players and the lack of communication.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many players have said that they've tried to negotiate contracts and it's been a disaster. So they got to figure that out because the reason that you had the majority of these players to begin with was because of the trust.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I mean, when this all went down many months ago during Kansas City, there was a couple players that I'm fairly close with that they went to the MLP side.
Yeah.
And pretty quickly, right after they signed with MLP, they were already having regrets and they had wanted to switch back. And by then it was already too late.
Yeah.
And so for those players, you really feel for them.
Yeah, but I think it's also interesting because I think that there was trust on the MLP side. Because let's be 100% honest, MLP players took less money to go to MLP over PPA.
For the most part.
Most part, yes. Yeah. And if all things were considered, and MLP still ended up with 80% of the players. So that tells you about the fractured relationship on the PPA side at that time. And it's okay, MLP, that's all that you had. That's what you had, right? You weren't paying them more money. You actually didn't have a viable league at that point.
Yeah.
You had 3 events, right? You didn't have sponsors. You weren't even sure, you have a product, but you weren't even sure what was going to happen. Yeah. But these players put all their trust in you. And then it's now what?
Hey, Jimmy, what are the chances we can see a screenshot of your phone log?
Oh, gosh, no.
I want to see your screen time for the past 3 days.
Oh, it's
every time I talk to this guy, he's on a call. He's talking to somebody. Nuts.
It's been a lot, but I like it. I want to help as much as I can.
He thrives in chaos, as he says.
I do thrive in chaos, but I also feel look, it's not my job. I don't get paid for this.
Well, you're kind of a president of a team, so
I am.
A little bit is your job.
Yes, but what I'm saying is I don't have I have no say in anything that happens at MLP. In fact, I'm probably disliked it from the corporate higher level of MLP. I don't know whether I am or I'm not, but I just feel like somebody's got to communicate. And if I know something that I think is beneficial to the players, then I want to communicate it to them. Yeah. Good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent out that tweet saying, what we were told, and I got a lot of grief for that. But you know what? Let's just be transparent.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's okay to over communicate things.
Yeah.
So
To some degree.
to some degree, yes, right? Like some degree. Like,
Sam Flaxman.
yeah, yes. Like, Sam, thank you for telling us you're getting a cup of coffee today. Now you're walking to your car. Now you're opening your car door. Now I'm sitting down in my car. Hang on, let me turn down my radio. Like, yes, but to some degree, yes. Anyway, so that's where we're at. We actually don't know a timeline on when this is going to be. I would imagine within the next week, we may have an owner's vote on this.
Yeah, but like I said, if they truly are holding to their word where they say they will not move forward unless every single person signs, I can't imagine. And from what I've heard, I don't think the first event will be for months.
Okay.
But if that's not
Yes.
true, then that could be a lot sooner.
Yes, exactly. Also, the LA event is not like the LA event's not happening. Like just call it what it is. It's January 27th.
Mm-hmm.
The LA event starts February 7th.
I'm going.
So it is 10 days away. We have not had a draft.
Yeah.
Right? We don't even really know.
Didn't somebody say that there's still a possibility that it happens?
Somebody told a player, somebody in MLP told a player that it's not 100% dead yet. Like, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Right? Anyways, it's I think that in the end, hopefully there's really smart people that are running this that are very wealthy for a reason, and they'll be able to figure this all out. I still, love the MLP product. Obviously, I love the team atmosphere, and there's a couple guys who, I'm obviously extremely biased, but there's a couple guys, Richie and Tim Parks, who love pickleball,
Yeah.
and they want what's best for pickleball in general. And so I think that those guys hopefully have enough of a voice, and it ends up being, for the love of the sport as opposed to, what it's become.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So yeah, we'll try to keep you guys updated with any more news we hear. But yeah, those emails were sent out, and so I would imagine the next few days, maybe next week, you'll hear quite a bit of muttering, drama, back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on. All right. Our next segment is
Yeah.
brought to you by Vulcan,
Vulcan,
which is the title ball of KOTC show.
yeah.
We love Vulcan. Tell us about Vulcan, Jimmy.
Vulcan, the
And
pro.
make sure it's not the same pitch as our previous ball sponsor, because somebody in the comments was saying it's the exact same pitch as the previous ball sponsor.
Really? I like the previous ball. That one's great too. But Vulcan V Pro Flight.
They are the title ball of PPA
Yeah,
Tour.
title ball PPA Tour. Look, we've said this. It probably is the same pitch because it's a plastic ball.
Mm-hmm.
However, Vulcan did work hard on this to engineer this so that they were able to come up with a ball that will last longer, but play fast. And I think that they found a good happy median,
Yeah.
between that. Because again, if you want a ball that's going to play insanely fast, like the previous ball of the PPA, the chances are it's going to crack. It's not going to last as long. Things like that. Vulcan has found that sweet spot, is what we'll call it.
We love the color.
The color is
easy
amazing.
to see out on the court.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy said, this ball will not crack nearly as much as all the other balls out there.
So we hosted a MLP combine. We used Vulcan balls for the entire combine. Had zero complaints about the balls at all. I had given a ball to a player the night before, a couple balls, to practice. Okay. He walks in the next day, pulls it out of his pocket, and he said, "We played 8 games with this last night." And he's like, "It's still perfect, ready to play." Now, obviously, not all balls are created equal, but he was super pumped, loved the ball. This is a pro player that's literally hitting the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were happy with it. So check them out.
VulcanSportingGoods.com. Use code KOTC.
Yes.
It supports us, and it's also giving you the best price. I think they only have 100 packs left in stock, which is great news for you because 100 packs will provide the best value, and you're going to be able to get a lot of balls.
I'll just say this. If you use our code, it brings the price very similar to everybody else. If not, almost the same.
Yeah. Go check them out. The 100 packs are awesome. Anyways, thank you for sponsoring this show
check it
and
out.
this segment, Vulcan. All right, so moving on. This upcoming week, we have a big tournament.
Big. Let's get back to pickleball.
Yeah, this is
Back to pickleball.
at JW Marriott in Phoenix.
J-Dub's house?
J-Dub's house.
J-Dub won't even be there.
He owns it.
J-Dub owns it, and he's going to stay home.
Exactly. So this is the PPA
Are you
Desert
staying
Ridge.
at the JW Marriott?
No, I wish. They didn't send us a code. Normally they send us codes for that hotel, but I didn't get it.
Is it an expensive hotel?
Oh, well, without the code, it's very expensive, but with the code, it brings it to just expensive.
Okay, just not very.
Connor Pardo's staying there, and he took up all the nights and all the rooms.
Yeah, well, he's probably using the hotel points from everybody else. He's like, I'll book your room.
Exactly. Okay, PPA Desert Ridge. So
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit interesting, as Jimmy was saying. There are a couple players that are pulling out, like JW, Dylan Frazier, in that group, and maybe a few others.
DJ Young's not playing. He's injured.
Okay. Anyone else?
I don't know. Oh, Lindsey Newman
Okay.
is not playing.
Okay. All right. So we have the draws pulled up here.
Andre Daescu is not playing.
Nunnery.
Nunnery's hurt,
Okay.
but Daescu pulled out. Yeah. So, yeah, let's pull up the draws. We'll go through the draws real quick.
What do you want to look at? I mean, the draws are getting massive.
Yeah.
and so it's hard to focus on every
So the draws are
single draw.
huge. This is not a progression draw, correct?
Correct.
So this is not a progression draw.
Yep.
So most teams only have buys through the round of 32 at this point.
Yeah.
So the biggest buy you're going to have is to the round of 32. Yeah, I actually haven't seen the draws, so I will look at them.
With me. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go through men's singles really quick.
So Ben's the 1 seed. So one thing I do know is Ben is the 1 seed, and Tyson was like the 3. But because of the way that they can always flop 3 and 4, Tyson is actually on the other side of the bracket from Ben.
Okay.
So Ben and Tyson would not meet until the finals. Do they ever I feel like they never meet in before the finals.
Is this a conspiracy or is this
No, I
factual?
I just think it's interesting, and I feel like Fed is he Fed the 2?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's on Ben's side of the draw,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Ben's the 1 seed. He'll end up playing Yame in the round of 16, which could be
yeah.
close.
Are you playing singles?
I am.
Yeah. Who do you got?
I'm in the round of 64, so I have a TBD, a qualifier.
Yeah.
And then if I win that, I will play Anik Loani.
Oh, a little Minnesota boy.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, I met all of his homies at the combine.
yeah. So I mean he's a great singles player.
Yeah.
And then
He wears these cargo shorts, Kirkland brand from Costco. He does.
that's awesome.
You should have one of those Leatherman hanging off the side.
Okay, any matchups you see? Christian Alshon will be playing Rafa Hewitt.
Yeah, Alshon having to go Rafa and then having to go Federico is going to be tough. I think that Chris Hayworth obviously he's up there at the top. He could always have a little bit of an upset. He plays Connor Garnett.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting matchup.
Ooh, Gabe Joseph and Yame.
Gabe Joseph and Yame is going to be electric if it's the two of them.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
I think it's Xiaomei, by the way.
Xiaomei,
But
yeah.
I say Yame.
Yeah, it is Xiaomei.
Sorry.
He actually said it to me directly. He does pronounce the J.
Yeah.
And if we don't pronounce things correctly, we're
People
racist. So
get really mad at us.
Xiaomei and Gabe Joseph will be electric. I think that'll be exciting. Hopefully Gabe wears socks. So yeah, I mean, singles is always fun. I think the big thing with singles is that anybody can upset anybody. One name to look out for, I'm just going to make a bold prediction, is Marcel Chan.
Okay. He's been in the past couple of tournaments and he's been doing well.
He has done well. He's one of Xiaomei's boys from Hawaii. He took Tyson to 3. And so he's the guy that I think he actually has a pretty decent draw too. He gets a qualifier, and then I think he gets Ryan Sherry.
No, Julian Arnold.
Oh, Julian Arnold. Okay, which is, he can hang with Julian Arnold. And then
Is Julian driving his Andiamo car down there?
Dude, did you see that?
That car is awesome.
It is
I told
sick.
you. I sent you a picture.
Somebody sent me a picture of the license plate, and it says Andiamo, but the O must have been taken, so he put a Q because somebody else. I can't believe that someone else in Texas has Andiamo. The wildest thing I've ever seen. That might be the biggest revelation that I saw. But so then I tweeted it out, and he said, "Pretty cool, huh? Pretty sick, isn't it?" Or something like that.
You tweeted a picture of his car.
Yeah. Yeah. And he responded. And he said, "It's pretty sick, isn't it?" And he's not wrong. It is a freaking sweet car.
Didn't somebody say, "I can't wait to see it repoed" or something?
Yeah, someone said, "I can't wait to see it repoed." And he said, "I didn't know you could repo cars that you paid cash for." He's kind of a badass for that. The dude carries around a $5,000 designer bag with his pickleball stuff in it.
Oh, man.
Julian Arnold he's growing on me because it's almost like he's a caricature of a real person. Like,
Hey, I'm playing a minimum of 2 tournaments with him.
I know he told me, and he told me that you are not allowed to play with him with that headband. The headband has got to go.
No, I'm wearing the headband.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to women's singles. We got Anna Leigh Waters, which apparently we need to give her a lot more credit for. So we will hype her up.
Hey, it was her birthday.
Uh-huh.
She turned 17.
Okay.
There's a law in Florida, by the way. 24 and 17 is now illegal. But anyways,
Legal or illegal?
illegal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
23 and 16 works. 24 and 17 does not.
Okay.
I don't know. Dude, Florida.
Did you see her new bobblehead?
Yes. So that's what I want to talk about. That bobblehead looks like a middle-aged mom. And I don't know if that's what Christian imagines but that bobblehead is horrendous. Like, I feel bad. It's not even the same hair color. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even look like her. Like, having a bobblehead is super cool. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's horrible.
I'm not joking one bit. I reached out to a supplier because I wanted to get bobbleheads of you, and so
human
I sent in a
bobblehead.
quote, and the quote they gave me was super expensive. It would have been like $45 landed cost.
Yeah.
and you told me they were retailing hers at like $30.
$30. Well,
So I need to figure out how.
well, yeah,
she's
that's
doing
probably because what they did was they took a bobblehead of somebody else and called it Anna Leigh Waters because it looks nothing like her. Like, it looks like an old woman.
that. Should we get one?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy one. It looks like an old woman, honestly. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't even look like Lee.
Yeah.
It looks like the dad. It looks like Stephen Waters more than it looks like Anna Leigh Waters. Poor thing.
Okay. All right. We got pro singles for women's.
Anna Lee's playing Avery Beck, possibly. She's from Utah. Represent.
Okay. We just Paris Todd is in there, and she'll play
Salome.
Salome.
Oh, yeah.
Salome.
Is Leia playing singles? She
She's
is.
signed up. Yep. She's the number 2 seed.
So Leia's the 2 seed. Oh,
She'll play Lauren Stratman,
okay. Mary.
and we got Chow Yi Wang.
So Chow Yi Wang has been in Utah this whole week. She stayed after the combine. She's
Okay.
been training with Chuck Taylor.
Okay.
Her singles game is good. I think that she's going to make more. It's just like all these players that come over from tennis. She's going to make more of a name in singles before she does in doubles.
Cool.
And so, yeah, I'm excited to watch her. Is Catherine not?
R.I.P. Jeannie Bouchard.
Yeah. So Jeannie Bouchard, we were told, pulled out
Yeah.
because she had tendonitis. And so she's not playing this event.
Gotcha.
But she's been playing a lot of tennis, so that tendonitis can't be too bad. Is Catherine not in there?
I don't see the name right now.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, Anna Leigh, in my opinion, she is so far ahead in singles.
I'm going to say we're going to have an Anna Leigh and Leia final. That's my prediction. I know that's an easy prediction, but
Dominique, she's streaky. She can sometimes.
yeah,
throw
Dominique
in
can
some
get hot.
upsets.
She's a great singles player, one of the best junior tennis players around.
Okay. Women's. So, all right, for men's, you have Ben coming out.
I'm going to say for
Federico?
men's,
Chris Hayworth.
I'm going to say for men's, it's going to be Chris Hayworth,
Wow. Okay. Women's.
the gearbox.
Okay. Women's.
Women's is, I'm going to say Anna Leigh.
Okay. All right. Let's go into
As much as I
women's
wish it was somebody else,
pro doubles.
I want to keep my record intact.
All right. We got the Kawamotos.
Yeah, so Kawamoto's
They'll
have,
play the Brashas.
again, which they just played them at Masters and
Anna Bright and
beat them in
Rachel.
3. They have a really easy draw.
Yeah, they have a great draw.
Yeah.
They'll play Lauren and Elise. Oh, Hurricane and Paris.
Yeah,
are
so
signed
that's
up.
a new partnership.
Yep.
Yeah, the Anna and Rachel have a cakewalk
And
to
then
the semis.
Leia and Susanna Barr.
So Netlord, listen, she's consistent. If Leia can play big and play that left side, I mean, Susanna Barr is consistent enough that I think if Leia attacks and plays big enough, that could be really interesting. I mean,
Okay, so
that,
who do you have? Susanna and Leia versus Andrea Koop.
and Tina Pisnik. So
Tina
that
Pisnik.
bottom side of the bracket.
So that's a second round match.
That's a second round. That's tough. And the winner of that probably gets Megan and Etta, which is also tough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be fun to watch that bracket. I'm going to say that Coop and Pisnik get that one.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know. Susanna is I think Susanna's a good partner for Leia because Leia can do what she wants to do, which is volley and attack.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
Susanna is normally pretty stable.
And she's steady. That's what I'm saying. And there's not, it's
But on the flip side, you have Tina, who's
the same.
fairly stable, and then
Yeah.
Coop, who is also stable. I don't see much power coming from Coop.
No, I'm going to switch. Leia and Susanna get that one.
Flip flopper.
Because, I think they get that one because Leia's going to be the most aggressive on the court out of those 4.
Okay.
And so that's going to lead them to victory.
We got Jilly B and Christine Maddox.
That's your partner
Christine Maddox is my partner.
against Callie and Lucy.
They'll play Callie and Lucy.
Callie and Lucy will win that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think Anna Bright and Rachel do? So they took second last tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Anna Bright and Rachel looks like they have essentially, they're on the other side of the
They'll
bracket.
play Lauren and Elise again.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the
yeah, assuming those players make it.
they're on the other side of the bracket of Annalie and Catherine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so look at their road. I actually think that they could lose to Etta and Meg.
They won't play them.
Oh, so they're on the same side of the bracket as Annalie and Catherine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they would meet them in the quarters.
In the quarter. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then they're gonna lose that. So that means that bottom part of the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I think Etta and Meg have a chance to come out of that bottom part of the bracket to play.
It'll be interesting. Both Meg and Etta are starting to work with this coach, Jason Peary, that I've been working with. And so I think they've been enjoying it. They're improving. And so maybe if they're able to make a few tweaks here and there, they might see some success.
I don't love like the Kawamotos being a 7 seed. And I know that the seeds can be like reverse 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all like interchangeable. But like if you're a 7, you expect to play the 2, and that's actually an advantage. But they're a 7 and they're on the same side as the 1.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Okay, moving on to men's pro doubles. We got Ben and Colin as your 1 seed. We got Will Howells and Johnny Goldberg playing into them.
Be a quick trip to
Rafa
the desert.
and Connor Garnett are playing. They're the number 7. What is super surprising to me is I saw Jay DeVilliers with Ben Newell.
You know why?
I don't.
Am I allowed to say?
Maybe. Just say it and then we'll cut it out if we need to.
No, let's not cut it out.
Okay.
There's rumor out there
Okay.
that Pat Smith is suspended.
Suspension. Is this the first suspended
Smith
player?
Received a suspension for conduct detrimental to the team, or what we'll say is conduct detrimental to the PPA. Derogatory comments he made on Facebook about the PPA. He made that whole post about the bronze medal matches and how he didn't pull out and how they were lying and basically saying that he was ready to play, but Fed couldn't be in 2 places at once. And he like went off about the bronze matches. And I don't know.
So that was a disparaging.
Yeah, he made disparaging remarks and he was suspended for this event.
Gotcha. Interesting. What are your thoughts on that? Is that
I didn't think they were that disparaging, to be honest, the remarks, but I will say that I did talk to a lot of players about the bronze matches and none of them actually wanted to play the bronze matches. And some other players were actually like, some wanted to play and they were planning on it, but then other players were actually like home by the time the bronze matches started.
So I don't know if you've heard, but PPA sent out an email saying if you make it to a bronze medal match and you do not play, you will be fined like $500 or something like that. So
so that's
they're starting to try to bring that back again.
Well, if they're going to take the time, like fans have been complaining about not airing bronze matches forever.
I think they just need to get rid of it. If there's no backdraw, just get rid of the bronze.
Yeah, but
There's
what
no
I'm saying
point.
is,
Most
I
of
can
the
see both
players
sides.
don't like that.
Yeah. But now the fans have been complaining about them not airing it, and now PPA has made the accommodations to air the bronze matches, and then all the players pulled out.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So bronze matches are back, and I think we will see bronze matches streamed.
Yeah, and they will be played that Sunday.
They'll play Sunday morning, right, before the other matches. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot more pickleball on Sunday for all of us to watch, at least for all of us degenerate junkies out there.
DJs who have nothing to do.
Nothing to do on a Sunday, but watch AFC Championship.
Okay, we got Jay and Ben Newell.
Jay and Ben Newell. Ben's a lefty.
Yeah. Pablo and Fed, they come in as the 4 seed.
Wyatt and Sincola.
Julian and Christian, they're the 6 seed.
Interesting.
AJ and Chuck Taylor, reunion number 3. Thomas and Riley, number 2. Steve Deacon, Yvonne, Hayden and Kellen, Eric Lang and Zane,
Oh, that's interesting.
Matt and James, Deckel and Tyson, and then I am playing with Todd Fote.
And so you'll get Tyson and Deckel if you win your first
If we win our
match.
first one, we'll play Craig Johnson and Augustus.
Dude, Augie Gee is
Yeah.
tough. They're tough.
Yeah, that's a tough first round.
And they're at home.
Yep.
Playing in their home state. That is a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Augie's actually playing with Tyra in mixed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Dylan
Dylan pulled
couldn't
out.
make it, yeah.
So I think out of that, I think I'm going to say we're going to see Matt and James against Riley and Thomas in the semis.
Okay.
And then on the other side, I think Ben and Colin probably against Fed and Pablo.
Okay. So the teams that I would like to look for, which I was really surprised with their showing last tournament, was Rafa and where is he?
Connor Garnett.
Connor Garnett. They lost first round, I think, to Jay and Pat.
Yeah.
Which I thought they would have done much, much, much better
Yeah,
because they're
they
a
did.
solid team.
Yeah, but Jay and Pat made a good run. Well, now they get redemption. Now they get Jay and Ben Newell.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, let's see if it was Jay that beat him or if it was,
Yeah. Winter Soldier Pat.
Winter Soldier, the German.
Okay. Any other upsets you think might happen?
No, but I really do hope we see a Riley Thomas versus James and Matt Wright match just because it's always chirpy, always exciting.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that, but I don't think we see too many deep runs or crazy upsets. I think we could see Hayden and Callan pick up.
Hey, look at this. Joey Farias and Mario Barrientos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look at that.
Wow. Better have cameras on that court.
Okay. All right. We'll just go to mixed doubles right here. Mixed doubles.
So mixed doubles, there's one partnership I'm pumped about.
Annalie and Ben.
No. A partnership I think can beat Annalie and Ben.
Rafa and Jade.
No. But that one, hey, Rafa, Jade, double lefties. How often do we see two lefties?
Catherine and Christian.
That one.
Interesting.
I think they can beat Ben and Annalie.
I don't think so.
I think they can beat them.
No.
I'm not saying they will beat them. I think they can.
I think in the future, this is their first tournament to my knowledge.
I know, but Christian, in my opinion, is the number 3 mixed player in the world right now. Ben is 1. Ignatowicz is 2. Christian is 3. Riley is 4. Thomas is 5. That's my ranking. But I think that Christian and Catherine have the ability. Now, I'm not saying they will or they won't.
There's a lot of players who have the ability
But I think
to do something.
no, there's
but
not.
They don't.
There's not. There's only a couple, in my opinion, and I think that team is good enough to beat them. Now,
They won't even. They might not even get through Jay and Callie.
yeah, that's true. But the fact that Christian and Lee,
They might not get through CJ and Lena.
oh, dude, CJ's a beast. But we'll start at the top. So Rafa and Jade are double lefties.
Okay.
They figured, why not?
Yeah.
They both needed partners. I might have helped hook that up. Got to take care of my daughter, Jade.
I wonder why are they playing together, Catherine and Christian? Did Jack pull out?
Jack's just not playing this event. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
I wonder if they were always scheduled to play or if this was more of a last minute.
Yeah, I don't know.
pairing.
I don't feel like Christian has a lot of mixed partners this year because he had opening from Minnesota.
So he was supposed to play with Jessie.
yeah, and she's hurt.
And she's hurt.
Exactly.
And then I don't think she's playing. Oh, maybe he was supposed to play with her.
in this one,
And
yeah.
she's not playing because
She's hurt.
well, not because she's hurt, because she's pulling out.
Yeah.
JW and those guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because she's MLP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Jesse's not playing.
Yeah, he was supposed. I'm pretty sure he was supposed
I think
to play
I
with her.
know Palm Springs he was supposed to play with Jesse, and that's why he played
Yeah.
with Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
AJ and Lacey, Anna Bright, James, Rachel and Fed, Lauren and Julian, Zane and Coop,
Okay.
Deckel and Tina,
I like that
Megan
one.
Tyson, Elise and Connor Garnett.
Yeah, I like that. Another interesting one. Leia is playing with Jack Monroe.
Yeah, lefty.
Yeah, he's ambidextrous, but yes, plays left-handed
Yep.
majority. Yeah, so that will be interesting as well to watch them. We've tried to get Jack out to a couple things for the Black Bears. Haven't been able to connect with him yet. He's too cool for us, but we'll see how he does.
Too busy making tips on
Yeah.
how to get better.
Yeah, so we'll see how
trick
he
shots.
does. We'll see how he does on the big stage. But
Okay. Any upsets or anything that you would really
Catherine
look
and
for?
Christian win it. Catherine and Christian win it.
Okay. Your credibility is going down and
What
down.
do you mean? I think that he's that good, dude.
No, he is good, and I'm not debating that
mixed,
at all.
it's crazy.
but
At
do you
men's,
know,
I think he
do you
has
know
a-
how good Annalie and Ben are?
Yeah, they're the best team in the world. But and I also think that Rafa and Jade take a game off of Ben and Annalie.
No, it's not even going to be close.
I think they take one game off of them because the lefty messes with them for one game. And then it's
Couple
like
points.
Then it's like
Couple points.
One game. And then
Couple
it's like
points.
3 and 4 after that.
Couple points.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay. Anything else you're looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the cactus? Seeing the cactus on all the live
Yeah,
streams?
everybody loves the cactus, the Desert Ridge cactus.
Yeah. Memes of pickleball. I think they even made a shirt.
Yeah, they did.
great.
AJ Kohler posted about the cactus yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you to our next sponsor, C&D Pickleball Nets.
Yes.
They are the best, the highest quality.
The best, and the website confirms it.
What is the website?
Thebestpickleballnets.com.
Okay. I don't know where I was. I was scrolling through the interwebs, and there was this nice facility, and I'm not joking. They had these awful temporary, like $100 temporary nets. I'm like, you've got to upgrade. You've got to get better nets, and C&D can provide that. They don't have to drill into the ground. You can move them wherever you need to. Great.
Yeah.
Great pickleball nets.
They're insane. And the thing is if you watch, now that obviously they're a sponsor of ours, you'll notice it, right? It's like when you buy a specific car of a specific color, you start to see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm seeing C&D nets everywhere, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the quality is unmatched. And the other thing is the people, and we don't want to be those guys that name drop, but the people that are buying C&D nets, they're not being purchased by they're being purchased by everybody, but the people buying C&D nets, like for example, we'll say like Jamie Foxx, right? Are high, they know quality when they see it.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm big on C&D nets. Obviously, we love them. They're great people, better people than even the actual net, which is really hard to do. So
Yeah.
love C&D.
Yeah. Go check them out. What's the website?
Thebestpickleballnets.com.
TheBestPickleballNets.com.
Code KOTC.
Use code KOTC. It saves you some money and also helps support this show.
Yes.
And yeah, we've had quite a few people use our code to my surprise.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on to questions. All right. So, by the way, we did a giveaway, and those gifts, the prizes, should be sent out this week. So if I have not reached out to you, check your DMs, message us, and DM us multiple times in a row if we have not responded. We are not always the best at responding to your DMs. Okay, questions.
Yeah.
All right, so somebody said, why do so many top 10 male and female players have bad overheads / can't put the ball away?
That's a good question because that's something you've never struggled with, right?
I would say most of the top 10 players, they're pretty good with
They're
putting,
good.
Yeah.
They're good overheads.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I think Annalie, her overhead,
They do not like lobs.
they do not like lobs. And so if you lob Annalie, her overhead off of a lob is really bad. But if Annalie's at the net and you pop a ball up, her overhead is great.
Yeah.
But I do think that a lot of players kind of have, like Riley, he's never going to have a great overhead because of his grip. Mm-hmm. And he knows that. He's aware of that, but that's why you've got to hit angles at that point, right? Yeah. You can't just hit the ball through people. You've got to hit angles.
I would say most players that have a tennis background, they don't struggle with overheads.
Yeah. And if you watch Riley, by the way, Riley will actually, more often than not, if you back up for one of his overheads, he'll actually drop it softly into the kitchen.
That's the worst shot.
It is, because you're bringing people back to the kitchen.
And Jay do it all the time.
Yeah.
All the
Yep.
time. And they almost lose the point. I would honestly say like 70% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, the players are too fast and too athletic, and they're going to get there most of the time.
It rarely works.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody said, when is PPA event coming to the Northeast?
There's New York. Does that count?
I don't know what. Yeah.
Do they mean like Rhode Island or like Delaware?
So they have one in
Maine?
DC.
DC,
Or, I don't
Virginia
know.
Beach.
Yeah,
It's in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
There is one that's in Virginia Beach this year. I don't remember the exact dates, but they are doing, that's probably as far northeast as we're going to get.
Okay. Somebody said, what point does Ben and Annalie winning every week become bad for the game? Sundays are now boring. So it's really interesting that there's a lot of people that ask this question. We like the analytics. And so we've talked about the analytics with PPA on Ben when he plays.
Yeah.
And shockingly, every single time Ben steps onto the court, the numbers go up versus when he's not on the court.
We've been told that the views when it's Ben Johns are
Or
Annalie are
like 3x
of
other matches are.
of everybody else.
Yeah.
So somebody's watching Ben and Annalie, and somebody likes Ben and Annalie.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah, I do think that parity is good for the sport.
I would say right now, Ben is not winning every single week. He is by far the best player, but he's seeing upsets. He lost in singles. He's losing in singles.
In singles, he is. But
doubles, I think they will continue to get upset. Not every tournament, but I think they will continue.
But he's not going to lose in mixed doubles.
No.
Except for this weekend to Catherine and Christian.
Exactly, except for this week.
Virginia Beach, March 20th to 24th. Mm-hmm. And then North Carolina, I know that's not quite northeast, but we're getting east.
Yeah,
is April 2nd to 7th. So that's as close as we're going to get.
Okay. This is a good question. What makes a pickleball coach stand out from other teachers?
I think there's a difference between there's a coach and an instructor. And what I mean by that is there's a coach, there's a guy that is good at strategy and watching matches and telling you strategy. And then there's a guy that's good at looking at your form, your strokes, and your actual gameplay and breaking down the things that you need to change and do different. And so for us, for the Black Bears, that's the only thing I can really speak on. Our coach is very solid at both, right? He can look at gameplay. He can look at who we're playing. He can break down the opponents. But then also he can look at, he obviously has been coaching you. He coaches Megan. He coaches Etta. He coaches a lot of great players.
Did you know that it's kind of like a full circle moment? I started off giving him lessons, Jason Peary.
Yeah.
And then now he's giving me lessons.
Yeah. The thing with Jason Peary is that he is, anything he does, and this is why he's so successful in life, is he becomes obsessed.
Yeah.
And he studies it and he works hard at it. This is a dude that watches film, that studies the game just nonstop.
Yeah. Loves the game.
Yeah, loves the game. And so for him, he's able to look at somebody and he's able to say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. And he's also able to look at a match and say, specifics. So that's the biggest thing. I think that you need to find, it really depends. If you just want to get better, like on your individual game and technique, there may be somebody different than the person that could coach you during a match.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a long answer, but
somebody said, who would Jimmy pick to leave KOTC to start a new podcast, pickleball or non-pickleball? Who would you pick to replace me? Kelsey?
Yeah, Jason Kelsey. Not even Travis.
Taylor Swift?
No. Me and Jason Kelsey.
George?
Would kill
Barragan?
it. No, George. Me and Jason Kelsey would slay it.
Why didn't Jimmy invite, I'm going to butcher this name, Etienne Blask?
Is that from Steve Bozick?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, to the Combine.
Yeah.
Listen, the Combine, we invited people that we thought would, essentially we hadn't seen a lot of, right? We only invited, the majority of the players we invited were signed by MLP or PPA.
People don't realize that, if you want to play an MLP this year, assuming it happens, you have to be signed to PPA or MLP.
Yeah. So if you're unsigned, you actually cannot be drafted.
There might be a waiver wire or something like that.
Yes, exactly. And so the majority of our players were signed. We did have a couple unsigned players that we just wanted to get a look at, mainly for a few different reasons. One, these are players that we obviously but we think have good upside. And they were able to get some exposure with some paddle sponsors that were there, things like that. The other thing is a couple paddle sponsors brought in their own players, which we had no issue with.
Yeah. And
then we brought in some local Utah pros who, it was easy to bring in Utah pros because it saves us money and we don't have to fly in people.
Yeah.
But the majority of the players that we did have there were signed players that are going to play the challenger level this year.
Yeah. Who would win if they played today? Annalie Waters and Djokovic versus Ben Johns and Serena. Ben Johns and Serena for sure.
In pickleball or tennis?
Pickleball, I'm assuming.
Yeah, easy.
You showed the 10 winners.
What about in tennis? Annalie and Djokovic, right?
No. No. I would still take Ben Johns because Annalie, I don't think she has. I would imagine Ben Johns is.
You don't think Djokovic's power would just be too much for them? Like who
I mean,
returns?
it's doubles. They're seeing 50. They're serving like you
Yeah,
can't-
but who's returning his serve? He's serving.
Serena?
No,
Djokovic doesn't have that big of a serve.
big enough.
It's big, but it's not like 150, 140. It's got a lot of kick on it, a lot of spin.
And Serena's returning that
For sure.
at 42.
100%. Guarantee she returns that.
It'll be interesting.
You showed the 10
put it
winners for the
together.
last giveaway, but never chose the big 3 prize winners. We will do that this week.
Yeah,
All right. Jimmy, have you seen the Ben John series?
I did. I watched it.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I thought it was good. I think that, the production quality was really good. It was only 15 minutes, so it's different
I
episodes.
heard that this was supposed to launch like a year ago,
Yeah.
a full year ago.
Yeah, so it's a year old. I mean, the production quality is good. It's all stuff you've heard before. I mean, Ben grew up playing multiple sports. Colin's his brother that's 6 years older. They have 5 sisters.
Yeah.
So they're super close, closer than they should be. They're homeschooled, all these things or whatever. But yeah, I think it was interesting. I think it's good to see like this human element of a lot of these players,
Yeah.
of, the human side of Ben. Cause Ben's a robot. Like Ben John, we had Ben on the show. And he was super relaxed and chill. I mean, the dude was eating salmon on the show. He was very chill and very relaxed.
Yeah.
But like at tournaments, I've seen Ben at tournaments since, and he goes from one place to the next, back to the players' lounge. Like he's very like methodical in everything that he does.
Yeah.
He's not like the super social guy outside, like when he's walking the grounds, And so it's good to see like that human side, that human element of Ben.
Do you think the Vulcan ball is more durable than the DuraFast? So it depends on what you mean by durable. This Vulcan ball, V-Pro, will not break nearly as much as the Dura. The Dura will break way more frequently. However, this ball will get softer than the Dura.
Yes.
And so it depends on what you're referring to. If you're just talking about breaking, then yes, the Vulcan ball will last much longer.
Agreed.
All right, we'll do a couple more. Do you believe that mental strength can overcome players who are technically better? I think to a degree.
To a
I mean,
degree,
if they're
yeah.
within margin, yes. But if somebody is,
A 3-0 that's mentally strong is not beating a 5-0 that's mentally weak.
yeah.
But if it's
What do you think the largest difference? Like 0.5? Do you think?
yeah, I think if you're a solid 4-5 and you're playing a 5-0 and maybe that 5-0 misses a shot or two and, they kind of start to crumble and you can get in their head a little bit and you stay mentally strong, then yeah, you can upset them. But it also depends on how mentally weak, right? Like, are their peaks really, really good and their valleys are super low, or are they still fairly consistent, but they just kind of get in their own head? I think it really depends. But mental strength is huge. And there are players out there that don't get rattled, and we see it on the tour. And they don't really let themselves get rattled. And then there's other players that wear their heart on their sleeve and they're crazy emotional.
Yeah.
And you can watch the spiral. Literally, you can watch them start to spiral.
I don't know if you remember, but the Dinks poll on like all the top players, celebrities, stuff like that. Do you remember? Somebody wants to hear what your votes were for the different categories.
I don't remember them all, but like player of the, I mean, I think it's hard to vote any one player of the year that's not Ben Johns. Any female player of the year that's not Annalie. I know that like Hunter was on there and all these other.
Yeah.
I know that they're trying to do that because they're APP, trying to give a voice to everybody. But it's hard not to vote for those two. I think Rising Star is interesting because they had like Gabe Tardio, they had Tyra. I obviously am a little bit biased, so I voted Tina Pisnik because I think that her upside, even though her age is a little different than these guys, her upside is still huge. Best pod, I mean, obviously, if you don't vote for KOTC, you're making a massive mistake.
Yeah.
Most influential, nobody. I mean, you can vote for me. I don't know what I get. If I get something,
Vote for this guy. Yeah. That's,
if I get something cool, vote for me.
yeah.
What were the other ones? I'm trying to think of the other ones that were on there.
Content creator. Which,
Content creator, yeah. So there's we did that on ours.
yeah.
And there's a lot of good ones out there. I think All Things Pickleball was in there, which is they're solid. Pickleball chick was in there. Caitlin's great.
All right.
So, yeah.
Somebody said, how does one get an opportunity to play pickleball with the boys from KOTC?
But just ask. Where do you live?
Okay.
Hit us up. Where do you live? We're in. Was that George?
7 out of the next 9 PPA events are 1,000 point ones. Can the pros just take it easy until May?
Yeah, I think that we'll see.
They could.
I think 7 out of the next 9 PPA events we're going to see like we're seeing at Desert Ridge.
If I was Ben in those top 5, top 4 players, I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd be
You
playing.
think Ben even plays Minnesota?
No, he won't. He doesn't like indoors.
Because it's indoor. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think I would. I think we're going to see that actually.
How do the new Yolas I can't talk. Sorry, guys. How do the new Yolas play compared to the Gearbox Power?
Similar.
Honestly, insanely similar.
They are.
The power on that new Yola
nuts.
Is comparable.
They're nuts. Out of control. So we're at the combine and Rachel Retger is there. Mm-hmm. Shout out Rachel Retger. She probably doesn't watch the show, but she has a paddle and she is ripping balls and they're just boom, boom. And Jason Peary looks at me and Richie and he says, that paddle is delaminated.
Yeah. And
she's like, no, it's not. It's the new Yola. That's just how they sound. And he's like, I mean, Rachel's little. Like, we'll be honest. She's 5'3", probably 100 pounds. Like, she's little.
Yeah.
And she's just unloading on the ball. And he's like, it's got to be delaminated. It's got to be. And Rachel's like, I promise you it's not, but I'll get it. And she's being very nice.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll get a new paddle then.
Yeah.
So she goes and unwraps a brand new paddle.
Yeah.
I watch her unwrap it, takes one swing.
Yeah.
And I was like, same noise, same everything.
Yeah. Those
things are as hot can be.
Do you want to read that first one?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll just do two more. All right, what is Tyler's journey to becoming a pro? Did he have a full-time job before? Somebody's been wanting me to kind of do like a series, like a very amateur mini series on this stuff. So hopefully I can actually get that out. But yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've been able to do pickleball. I'm one of the OGs, I like to call it. I've been doing pickleball about 10 years. And so I switched to doing pickleball in college. And so I had a pretty fortunate situation.
So you've never had a full-time job?
Technically, I've had a full-time job, but it was a very unique full-time job.
You're working with Onyx?
Yeah, I was a sales rep for them, and I still traveled around to tournaments and played, and they covered everything. And so,
but you've never had a 9 to 5?
No.
Ever? Like even like Burger King in high school?
I did movie theaters for a little bit.
Oh, you did? Okay, that counts.
Yeah, that was a great job.
Yeah, that
so
counts.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go into that a little bit more in detail, hopefully in the future. Okay, last question.
What would it be called?
Huh?
The Loom Journey to Pickleball?
Yeah.
Do people always just play off your last name?
Not many people do, actually.
Really?
Yeah. By the way, people think my middle name is not my middle name, but it is.
How do you pronounce it?
Kaching.
Yeah. People think that like you're saying like cash, like kaching, like a cash register. Yeah. Like you're saying it like as like a joke, but what's it mean?
So I'm part Chinese.
Yeah.
And my family has every one of my brothers has a Ka for their middle name and then something else.
Okay. Yeah. Does the Ka mean anything?
It's just our family name.
Just your family name. Okay. That's cool.
All right. Someone said, when is Big H getting on the pod? Well, he first has to respond to us. So
yeah, Big H, he's 18. He's got a lot going on. Jerry's got him out there doing yard work. He's got to mow the lawn. He's got to keep his room tidy. Yeah. So it's been a little tough to get Big H on the pod, but we'll get him on there.
Okay. Thank you for your support. Paddle Reset. I've been using this and loving it. Paddles have been getting dirty, and this cleans it, and it makes the paddle smelling great. Absolutely love it.
It does.
Go get this at resetpickleball.shop and use code KOTC. Cleans the paddle safe and effectively.
Yes.
Yep.
No erasers. Get rid of the erasers.
Yeah, we don't like those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this will make your paddle last quite a bit longer, and it's very economical. And I've been using the same bottle for 3+ months now.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm still I still have probably a little bit less than half.
Is that because you're not playing very much pickleball?
No, it's because it's such a big bottle.
Yes,
and
done.
it provides so much value.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you for
Reset.
our title sponsor, The Pickler. Pickleball Central coming in big.
Pickleball Central. Woo!
Use
I feel
code
like we've
KOTC.
arrived. Walmart's next.
Exactly. C&D Pickleball Nets, Vulcan, Reset.
Yeah.
We love all our sponsors. This show would not be possible without them. Also, if you made it this far, please do us a big favor. It's actually completely free to hit that like and subscribe button.
It is?
Yeah.
Does
it's
it
free.
cost you anything?
Does
Crazy.
not cost you anything.
Like, subscribe. Yes.
Okay. Are you going to Phoenix?
I won't be in Phoenix, but we will be in Mesa,
Okay.
end of February, I believe.
Yep.
And yeah, we're going to try and do some live pod stuff there in Mesa. Come say hi. Say hi to Tyler in Phoenix, though.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.